Hi, my name is Brian Rose, and I'm a retired professor from Fordham University, where I taught classes on film and television history for close to 4 decades. I've been doing talks in the New York City area for 20 years or so, and thanks to Zoom, I've now been able to reach audiences all over the country. My focus is on Hollywood and television history, past, present, and future. In addition to the big screen, I also have nearly a dozen talks focusing on the small screen, starting with the golden age of live television from the 1950s to the 1960s, which looks at Sid Caesar, the Army McCarthy hearings, and the quiz show scandals. This was a fascinating time in TV history when television was just beginning. And in my presentation, and now a word from our sponsor, I take a deeper look at what TV advertising was like in these early years when commercials were often live and sometimes integrated directly into the show. These first decades of television were also a time when the medium discovered rock music. And in my talk, Rock and TV, I try to bring this era alive with some fabulous clips of Elvis Presley's first appearances on television, along with Ricky Nelson, the Supremes, the Beatles, and yes, the Monkees. Television has changed so much over the decades, and these changes are reflected in a variety of ways. In my lecture on the history of TV news, I go all the way back to Huntley Brinkley and Walter Cronkite and show how TV journalism developed from the introduction of news magazines like 60 Minutes to the revolution of all news cable networks like CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. It's a fascinating story that reveals just how important television has become in shaping our political landscape. And though it started out as primarily a lighthearted way to end the day, the TV talk show has also transformed in recent times into a pointed and often controversial arena for political conversation, as I examine in my lecture From Carson to Oprah to Stephen Colbert, a history of the TV talk show. On a less serious note, my presentation on the history of TV comedy looks at the many ways television has made us laugh over the decades, from the vaudeville antics of Milton Berle, the classic comedy of Lucille Ball and Jackie Gleason, the new style of relevant sitcoms pioneered by Mary Tyler Moore and All in the Family, to the links between Steve Allen to David Letterman. Finally, I have two presentations for audiences that may want a deeper understanding of the incredible ways technology has transformed our lives. The first is called The Changing Face of Television and explains how YouTube, Netflix, and Disney Plus have basically made the simple act of watching TV a lot more rewarding and a lot more complicated. The second, How the Internet Changed Everything, looks at the digital revolution and its decisive impact on everything from newspapers, radio, music, and home entertainment. I do my best to cover a lot of material, and I hope you'll find a topic which will interest your audience.